Hey guys, it's the WaltOnFootball.com After Dark show for October 13, 2024. This is our final Week 6 NFL picks video. Going to go over all the picks and also some player props and get into some other stuff, of course. Before we intro our co-hosts, please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video, visit the link in the description for the merch store. As you can see, I am wearing one of the shirts. That's my entire wardrobe, as I've said many times. And you can get one of these shirts at a 20% discount. We're having a 20% sale. So even this one's like $16. I think the most expensive one's like $19. Like the Wrath month, the Greed month, they're all like $18. So yeah, you get to jump ahead of the Black Friday sale here, which is a month and a half from now, but still 20% off is a pretty good deal. So you can help support the show that way, or please consider super chats, super stickers. That's really the best way to help us because these YouTube ads pay nothing. I said it so many times, like if we don't get a super chat or super sticker, it's less than $1, which like I can walk around my neighborhood and like pick up change and like do better that way, you know? So any appreciation, any help would be appreciated. We recently had Slew and John Sanders help us out a lot. In the past, we had Can Make an Eagle, Andrew Z, Stuart Griffin, DeGeneron, Germ, and Kevin Kovac. You guys have been so awesome with your contributions. At some point, I'm going to forget this list, but but for now, I do remember it. So yeah, if you guys want to keep helping us out, would really be appreciated. Also, you can go to Amazon, buy my books, Jerks of the College Years. That is the third book I wrote, and I just made fun of people I saw on campus at Penn State. My second book was How the 2020 MVP Was Stolen. Must read for any football fan because it's an unknown story that when Aaron Rodgers won MVP in 2020, Brett Favre actually tried to sabotage him. So I did all the research. It's an expose. It's quite the interesting read. So I urge you guys to check that out. So without further ado, we are joined by Quacky T, Tom making his comeback from not just the week off, but also the hurricane. Tom, how did you brave the hurricane, and how are you doing?
Yeah, Walter, here we are again. Walter football family, how are you? Yeah, I'm up here staying with family. I was trying to get out of the path of the hurricane, so luckily for me, where I live, got some heavy rains. We lost power down there for a while, but where I stayed, I was okay. So thinking about all those affected for sure. It was I know the West Coast really got it. But hey, guess what I did? Guess what I did earlier tonight? Just like an hour ago, I went to the theaters and saw The Nightmare Before Christmas. They're showing it in theaters. Is that one? That's one of my like all time like beloved movies. I love when they do that. They rescreen Jurassic Park, the original, last summer, and I went to see that in theaters. It was so cool to see it again.
You want to meet? You've been having this issue. You keep there. You go.
Mm-hmm.
So I like when they rescreen stuff. I was never a Nightmare Before Christmas guy.
Really?
It was a little too old for it because when I was in that age, like for Disney movies, like my sister and I went to go see. Well, first it was Little Mermaid, then Beauty and the Beast, and then it was Aladdin, and then Lion King. So like those are the four I saw before I kind of like aged out of the Disney stuff. But Lion King was always my favorite. I must have seen Lion King and not even counting my adult life. Lion King as a kid, I must have seen like 30 times. And like then, when my son was born, he became fascinated with the Lion King, and he must have seen that like 20 times. And so I've added to that. At one point, I could recite every line in the movie, but not now. But I could once upon a time. So.
Well, that was really like the golden age of the Disney. You just reeled off like some really popular ones, at least like from my childhood. You know, I was born in the '80s, and I was born in '86, so like I was a child of the '90s, and those were some pretty big hits there. But what did you think of I just saw that they're going to make a Mufasa, like a live action, like another Lion King. It's called Mufasa, but I everyone thought the first live action remake sucked, didn't they? Did you see it?
It was bad. They cut out the best song too. The "Be Prepared" song by Scar.
Yeah, that is a great one. That is a really underrated.
Yeah,
you know,
that was my son's favorite song too in the original, and they skipped through it. They did like 3 lines in the remake. I don't know why.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, it
But
was,
what's funny is that my expectations for it were really low, but it actually exceeded my expectations. I still thought it was bad, but
you know what? My least favorite part of the movie, except for them skipping that song, was John Oliver playing Zazu. I thought he just like sounded like he mailed that in. Like his voice acting was so bad
yeah,
in that movie. And maybe he's just not a good voice actor. I don't know. But he was terrible, I thought, in that movie. And it just like whenever Zazu spoke, I'm like, oh god, this sucks. Like, can we get the original Zazu back? You know, it was
I only saw it once 5 years ago. I'd have to listen to it again, but I don't know. I just think like some things, just let it be. You know,
Mm.
like some I don't know. So, I mean, now like they're live action remaking every movie it seems. But what the hell do I know? Anyhow, but yeah, but it was cool to see Nightmare Before Christmas. It's an all time favorite. So, but. Yeah, okay. We can get down to business here. Then if you like, Walt, we got some games. I know there's a few that we both like, but
yeah, let's get down to business.
yeah,
Defeat the Huns.
a little a little bit of football, a whole lot of nonsense when I'm on the show. I think that's I'm just warming them up for the games. You know, by now they kind of know what your picks are going to be, and like hopefully you enjoy the nonsense I bring as well.
Oh, we love the nonsense here.
It's kind of like the closing act for the week.
Yeah.
But
let's say 10 units on the Vikings. Yes, the Vikings will.
Oh wow!
They will not cover this week. Like they're not going to lose this week. I guarantee.
Yeah, no way.
Bagley says need a kicker for this week. Is Pittman droppable if Richardson is back? I prefer not to drop him because I don't know how long Richardson's going to last. Like if he's your last option, then sure, because he hasn't been great this year. And plus he's banged up. I don't know if he's 100%. So yeah, I mean you can do it. I just prefer not to. Cassandra says I've never mentioned. Never get mentioned. Walt, first person to donate after the initial donation when it was discovered. You could be sent super chats and never get mentioned. Thank you, Cassandra. I really appreciate it. I will now mention you from now on.
Cassandra.
Yes, absolutely. Thanks for always tuning in as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Any spreads already locked in? I locked in the Lions -3, -115. This is back on Monday. I posted that on Twitter, and then I posted it on the site. I posted on the site, obviously, because that's when I wrote it up. But yeah, it was Monday night, like right after the Monday night game, because I saw it was trending toward 3.5. And then I felt like an idiot because it fell down to like 3 -110, and now it's 3.5. So I guess I was like a little too early, but still it worked out. Cassandra says, "Hey Tom, congrats."
Hey, thank you, appreciate it, Cassandra.
Yeah, and then also you guys started the stream with like 2 minutes left in one of the best college games of the year. Yeah, I didn't, I had no idea. I was running around doing some grocery shopping, and then like I was at my parents' house with the kids. Then we got back. I had to put them to bed. Then I did some grocery shopping. I had no idea what was going on. So I DVR a lot of these games to watch them later. So I don't like. I seldom watch college football live. I did watch that Alabama Georgia game a couple weeks ago. That was it. Like I just usually just watch them later. So I had no idea. But I do see like it's what Ohio State, Oregon, like 32-31.
Oh wow, yeah. I hardly watch college football either. I really liked USC today, and I got them +3.5, and it got there. They lost by 3 against Penn State. So I did watch the end of that because it was a nail biter. USC was up by like 14 at one point, and but yeah, I barely got there with the half point.
Nice. Mike says I think I was the first person to suggest super chats. Would it be fun to go back and check?
You should get a cut. You should get a cut of the super chats, like a finder's fee, Mike.
You're giving my money away. Cool.
Yeah.
Polk or Leggett? Leggett, definitely Polk. Definitely not Polk. Let's say Bagley, what's your team? And then I would have thought Juwan Jennings if I known Pittman was fine. Thanks, Colts, for being dishonest. Yeah, the Colts said Pittman was going to be out for multiple weeks, and then he practiced fully on Friday. So it was very bizarre. So anyway, Matthias said 18 leagues, start 3 running backs, 3 receivers, 2 flex. Yeah. Okay. Do you remember the first super chatter? Well, Cassandra says it was Cassandra. So was it not Cassandra? Or was Cassandra lying? I don't know.
Oh, should we take bets on who it was, and then you guys can play? I'll take the bets, and then we'll go back through the archives and figure it out. Anyone interested in that? Let me know.
Yeah, lasted out several weeks.
Oh my god.
Almost never watched college football either. Just needed something on the background. Yeah, I got sucked in. It makes sense. And then yeah, Mike, I think you were. No, I was second. Okay. Okay. Interesting. All right. So let's get to these games here. So we have Jaguars and Bears in London. This is the second of the dreadful 9:30 a.m. games. Luckily, there are only four this year. I was actually kind of surprised. I thought there'd be five. There's only four, thankfully. I really hate these games. Like the game starts so early. I barely get any. I get 2 hours of sleep, so I'm like half asleep like during the games. It's just a miserable experience. And also the traffic suffers through the site too. And I imagine the NFL Sunday morning shows like really tank as well, just because like people are watching the game and they're not watching the pregame shows. And like like our busiest day of traffic during the football season is Sunday, and like it takes a big hit. It takes like probably like a 20-30% hit. And which is brutal because we need the revenue. So I that's like two reasons why I hate these games. And the third is that these games are seldom competitive. It's usually the better team just destroying the inferior team. But you could argue which one's superior here. I think the best unit on the field is the Bears, the Bears defense, I should say. But I don't know if they've been like tested recently. They play the Rams, who are missing their top two receivers. They played the Panthers, who they have a decent offense, not great. And then I forget who else they played the Colts, who Richardson had like some terrible throws. So I don't know how legit this defense is. I think it's good. I don't know how great it is though. I should note that the Jaguars are getting the most sharp money of any team this week. In fact, the Jaguars are now favored at FanDuel. They're -1 at FanDuel, which kind of like was a little shocking. So I'm still leaning toward Jacksonville as just tailing the sharps. I really don't have a good feel for this game. I have a same game parlay here. My favorite player prop is DeAndre Swift over 17.5 receiving yards. I think Swift sucks as a runner because his legs just die on contact, but he is elusive in the open field. And so the Jaguars tend to allow a lot of receiving yardage to running backs, and so if he gets into open space, he can get there like pretty easily. So, what are your thoughts on this game?
I'm going to keep it pretty simple here, Walt. I like the Jaguars. I like them a good bit. I mean, yeah, Caleb Williams has played better. The Bears are, despite how he's played this season, their record is a lot better than I thought that they would be. But they haven't played well enough yet, in my opinion, to go, into London and play, and be favored. Well, I mean, I know you said now they're +1, but I think we got it at +2 in the Super Contest. The Jaguars +2,
Mm-hmm.
but this is like the Jaguars' home turf, man. That's disrespectful. Jags live there. I'm not gonna. I like the Jags here to win outright. So, you said they're -1 now, but yeah, I like the Jaguars a pretty good bit.
Yeah, I'm kind of upset by the line movement because I planned on betting a teaser, Jaguars +8.5 and Jets +8.5.
That would have been nice, yeah.
But now we can't do that. So if this goes to Jags -1.5, I could do Bears +7.5. I think this game's gonna be close. So I might end up doing that. We'll see. But can't do that at all right now, unfortunately. Bagley listing his team: Lamar Jackson, Bijan, Jacobs, Mason, Chuba, Pollard, Hunt, Doodle, Chase Brown, Evans, Devontae Smith, Waddle, Kirk, Wandale, Myers, Pittman, Jawan, Kittle, Goddard. Yeah, I see what you mean, like cutting Jawan. Yeah, I think Pittman is the right choice. Yeah, from what I see, I wouldn't. Doodle's okay. I think I'd rather cut Pittman than Doodle. I think it comes down to those two. But yeah, I get your dilemma there. It's a good team.
Tell the people why they shouldn't take ETN.
On Showdown for DraftKings.
Yeah.
Well, Tank Bigsby's great.
I like Bigsby.
He's overtaken ETN as the primary runner. He had 13 carries last week. ETN had 6. ETN's just never been a good player in the NFL. He's just been like a volume sponge. Like he always gets the ball, and like that's not the case anymore. And it's going to be all Bigsby. ETN's going to catch passes out of the backfield, but Bigsby's going to be the primary runner. So I'd rather play him. Bears like run funnel defense. I think it's a good matchup for him. Seabaz asking, do you bet any sports other than football? NBA, we bet a lot. We have an NBA pick every single day during the season, and plus a prop. And also bet golf. We bet golf every week during the golf primary season from February to August. And we've been in the money. We've been plus money the past 2 years.
Not to mention there, Seabass, Walter has the inside connection to one of the hottest NHL handicappers on this side of the Mississippi.
That's
I don't know if y'all or no. I guess I should tweet these out. But what if I ruin the magic of it? So we'll let the people know. You and Jacob and I, we have like a group chat, and we'll send picks that we like. And my NHL picks, what would you say? Like, I feel like they're like 80% or better, and they're always underdogs. I don't know how I like. Maybe I should tweet those out. Maybe put a quacky hockey segment.
I mean, you should tweet them out.
I guess I should tweet them out. Yeah,
you are like 75, 80, maybe 85% like with these picks, and like they're always underdogs. It's incredible. I love when you text me. You're like a couple nights ago. You're like, take the Utah hockey team. I was like, is that Canadian Hockey League? What is Utah hockey team? Apparently the NHL has an expansion team. I don't know why they don't have a mascot.
No, it was formerly the Arizona Coyotes. Now
they moved. Okay.
Yeah, and I'll tell you what, because the Coyotes have been bad for a while. Just let me get this quick plug in. Sorry, everybody, and then we'll move on back to football. I took the Utah Hockey Club to win the West and the Stanley Cup. I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. They haven't made the playoffs for a little while now. They have a really young, strong core. Like, these guys are good. They just beat the Rangers tonight. I bet them to win the Stanley Cup. I think it was like 60-1, and then I got them to win the West. I want to say like 40-1. They'll make the playoffs. They'll make the playoffs.
75-1 to win the Stanley Cup. The Utah Hockey Club. Did they forget to have a mascot? Like, why aren't the Utah Coyotes?
Something I don't know. There's got to be some sort of legal something or other with. I don't know exactly what happened with change of ownership, or I mean, obviously location, but they're probably like, I don't know, like maybe build a fan base and have them vote for it. They should name them. You know, they should name them the Commanders.
They should name the Redskins.
They should name him the Washington. I like Cassandra, I'm with you. I like the Utah Hockey Club name. It's different, man. It's unique. I'm going to get a Clayton Keller Utah Hockey Club sweater because I'll tell you that's a team on the rise. I'll tell you what. So if you like hockey, I'll tell you what. I think they make the playoffs. You can get a good number. You know, you can find yourself in a decent hedge situation. But this team is good. Don't sleep on them. So just saying. I already put it in.
You need a mascot. I'm surprised the Flyers are 75-1 because my dad is and also my doctor's a huge Flyers fan. Like, they're both like oh, the Flyers are gonna be so great this year. And now I'm seeing 75-1. That's kind of shocking to me.
And okay, here's the other thing. Like, here's why you take the Utah Hockey Club now, because like I think the casual better, like they see like if it was still the Arizona Coyotes, the odds wouldn't be as good. Because they're people are like the Utah Hockey Club. Like, who the hell is that? Like, they're not. But it's like now they're 3-0. They won some big games here. Like, to start off, like they're strong. I mean, obviously they have weaknesses, but get in on it now before the secret's out.
Yeah,
I'm telling you. Like, well, I guess I shouldn't talk too highly, but like, don't sleep on them. Don't sleep on them. Anyhow,
I'll put a bet on Utah and Philly, and we'll get it going from there. Germ with the $5 super chat. Thank you so much, Germ. Really appreciate
thank you, Germ. Appreciate it.
Yeah, awesome. Really, this is great. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we do appreciate it.
Yeah, it means a lot. Like I said, the YouTube ads, like, it's very dismal here.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, yes. So to answer this question, you do hockey, I do best NBA and golf.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Catch up on chats here. Cassandra says, I love the Jaguars. I'm so mad that I dallied and missed the line value. Had it set to go at +1.5, caught it at a pick before it moved to -1, -1.5 everywhere. Yeah, look, you'll probably still win it. Like, the Jaguars' most likely result is winning by 3, so you'll probably be fine. But in before they lose by 1, but you should get it. There's a +1 Bovada. Bovada closed my account. They said they are no longer operating in Pennsylvania, so I no longer have access to Bovada. So anyway, they made me take out all my money. So let's see here. Let's get going. I got Pick'em -1 at the bookmaker. Okay. And he said John Sanders or Sue might have been the first. Yeah, well, maybe we'll get down to the bottom of that.
Like we're in private investigators. Get
Right.
down to the bottom of that.
Yeah.
All right, let's keep it moving. Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. Sanchez or Oregon pulled it off. Don't really care as a Greek game. Yeah, I don't really care either.
I saw that.
The other thing was it's a work league. Okay. Yeah, usually those work leagues, they aren't super competitive. So I like the Utah Hockey Club more.
I like.
They should call them the Utah football team.
Just to like really throw them for a loop, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Confuse them. People don't know. And then it brings fans from both sports because they think they're going to a
right. Yeah,
genius marketing.
Trick people into
yeah. Freaking brilliant marketing, man.
Yeah.
You're first.
Tom, do you want to plug your Twitter here? C-Dad's asking for it.
Oh, yeah.
It's
just at Quacky T there underneath my name. And it's a purple
with the underscore.
Quacky doing the Lenny.
Yeah.
From The Simpsons. Yeah. You'll see me.
Utah Redskins would be the best. Honestly, that'd be so great. I would become a fan. I would buy all their gear if they did that. Honestly, Dylan needs help. Full PPR, different leagues. 1 QB, 1 flex tight end. Is Baker, Caleb, Kirk, Spears, Andrews and Likely because of Baltimore tight ends. 2 flex, 1 running back. Receivers: Pierce, Wicks, Bateman, Ford, Bigsby, ETN starting already. Smitty and Bucky, who's Devontae Smith, I guess. So what do you? So you need 1 quarterback. I would go Caleb for flex and 1 tight end. I think I'd go Andrews and Kirk, I guess. Yeah, Kirk. And then he needs 2 flex, 1 running back. So I see you already have ETN starting. I'd rather play Bigsby over ETN. And check on Sunday morning. Check if Watson is in. Christian Watson. If Christian Watson's out, definitely Wicks. Actually, just looking at this, I think I'd go Wicks regardless. I think I'd go Pierce, Wicks, and Bigsby. I think. Bovada was banned by the state of Louisiana in August. Bovada said they were banned in PA. So
just a minor nuisance. It's like, bummer, man.
Bovada has a history of not paying out, so just be careful. Be careful there. I personally have never had an issue, but I know multiple people who've never been paid out. So just be careful with them.
Sorry, I'm not laughing at that. Yeah, let's keep it going here.
The Washington hockey team, a Baltimore Ravens.
Dude, I'm on the Ravens this time around, man. Sorry, not to cut off your thing, but
good.
Yeah, I guess I don't have too much analysis on this, but come on, this line is like begging for you to take the Commandos here. Come on, man. Everyone and their mom was. I think the Ravens could. You know what this is? I think I told you this on our call last night. This reminds me of last year when the Detroit Lions were rolling along, and then all of a sudden they came into Baltimore and got freaking rolled. Man, wasn't it like 38-3 or something at one point?
It was gross.
It was, and I feel like this could maybe be, and as much as I like what Washington, also Brian Robinson's out too now. I think, is that correct?
He is out. Eckler is fine as a replacement. They have Jeremy McNichols too. So, I think running back is like one of the least important positions.
Fair, but I don't.
The Niners have not McCaffrey. Like they're still.
I like Robinson though. I do like him.
Yeah,
probably mostly because he's on my fantasy team and he's doing pretty well for me. Maybe that's why I like him. But I mean, I think that's fair point. But I don't know. This looks like I don't know. This could be like I don't want to say a welcome to the NFL, but for Jaden Daniels, who's been freaking fantastic. I love watching. I really hope this Commanders team does well. But I don't know. This is a pretty big test here, like on the road against. At least they don't have to travel far, so take that for what it's worth. But I think the Ravens could win pretty big here.
Yeah, it's only 40-minute drive, but going into the slums of Baltimore where people are shooting themselves up needles, like it can be pretty rough. I don't know. Like I get I get your take on this game. I really do, and I could see it. And we submitted it on our joint super contest card. And then I talked to Aton today, who used to be the co-host of the Tuesday show, short-lived, but still he was a great co-host. And he loves Washington, and he just thinks and he agreed with me where like I kind of talk back about how I think that the Ravens are just an overrated team because they have such flaws. Like they can't cover. Their cornerbacks are pretty bad. They can't cover the middle of the field. They can't really pass protect. Now they do some things like really well. They stop the run extremely well. They run the ball like extremely well as well. And they have Lamar Jackson. It's like they have these great strengths. And so if they can use those strengths and they don't get their weaknesses exposed against Washington, it could be one of those 38-3 games. But I think that Washington, like the backdoor just looks like so appealing to like Jane Daniels against this secondary. But then again, the Sharps are all over the Ravens. This is the number 2 Sharp game of the week. The public's actually split on this, but the Sharps like the Ravens. So this is the first time all year I've had a conflict on the cards. You and I have Baltimore, and Aton and I have the Redskins. And I actually had to note. I thought you might have seen the email I sent to Andy. I had to actually note that. I'm like, yeah, there is a conflict. I'm aware of it because he would have like Andy's such a great our Thursday co-host, by the way. Andy's such a great proxy that he would have like emailed me, and like if I didn't answer within 10 minutes, he would have called me. He's like, wait, why do you have a conflict here? Like he would have done that, so I had to note it. So if you guys ever need a proxy, Andy's your man. He's the best. But yeah,
you know what I think could happen here? Like maybe like Commandos first half or something, but like this kind of seems like a game where it's like, oh, like Commanders, like they're looking good, like pretty good, maybe through like 2.5 quarters, like 3 quarters, but then all of a sudden, like I don't know, like then the Ravens find a way to win this by 10, like at the end. It kind of, I have a feeling it could play out that way. That's based on absolutely nothing, but sometimes when I'm feeling quacky, it happens. Ask the kids at home. Yeah. It's the viewers know. Sometimes those feel I feel like it could play out that way.
Yeah, maybe. Again, I'm not good about this one. I just don't really have a good feel for it. But it's funny that you and Aton are both on such extremes where you love the opposite sides. But anyway, what I do like in this game is Zach Ertz over receiving yards, 25.5. Every tight end the Ravens have played, every single tight end has gone 31 plus receiving yards. Now I know they played some good ones, like they played against Dalton Kincaid and stuff, but and Travis Kelce, but they also played against Mike Gesicki and Noah Gray. Both went over 31 as well. So Zach Ertz, who saw 8 targets last week, I think he should get to 25.5. So yeah, just again, not on any side here. Sanchez, I have 5 units on the Ravens. Tom, I misread the Redskins too badly this season that it took 2 weeks off from touching their games, but that team is not good. I agree. The defense should not be good. The defense has actually been pretty good the past 2 weeks. I don't know how real that is. I have a feeling that it's going to regress to the mean. So I think you guys might be right. But then again, I can see a good argument for Washington as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
The Washington seems too easy here. Also.
Yeah, John asking PPR fantasy question. I love like PPR for the quarterbacks. Will Levis or Bo Nix. Well, it's gonna happen. I mean, a pass deflected back to them to catch it. That's one point.
Yeah. Titans have a history of doing that too. Remember Marcus Mariota did that in the.
That's right.
So yeah.
So I'm going to play Will Levis in one of my spy DraftKings contests. He's only 4,800 I think on DraftKings, so he's super cheap. Here's my pitch for Will Levis and like why he's a good play this week. In week 1, he played against the Bears. The Bears have the 5th ranked defensive EPA this year. Week 2, he played against the Jets. Jets have the second-ranked defensive EPA this year. Week 3, he played against the Packers, who have the sixth-ranked defensive EPA this year. So in the 3 full games he's played this year, he's played against the number 5 defense, the number 2 defense, and the number 6 defense. And then week 4, he got hurt against Miami. Now, granted, he threw an interception, but Miami is the 14th-ranked defense. So this is by far the worst defense he'll go up against. So I mentioned that. So it was what? That's 5, 2, and 6 in the full games he's played. The Colts this year, they are 17th in defense, so they are in the bottom half. And that 17 factors in some games where they were healthier, and like they're not healthy now. You saw what Trevor Lawrence did to them last week. So yeah. Well, also last year, but still. I think that Will Levis could just pick up where Lawrence left off, and Bo Nix has a tough matchup here against the Chargers, especially if Joey Bosa plays. So I like Will Levis. I'm going to play him in DraftKings, and I would start him over Bo Nix. I wonder what the Redskins cheerleaders first thought when they were going commando.
Oh my
God. Randy says like the Chiefs as underdogs next week at San Francisco. I'm actually planning on writing up that game tonight just so I have a little bit less work. Because you can do that because the Niners just played and the Chiefs are on bye. So I always look for that. I just try to like get ahead because like Saturday night is like my least active night. I get like 1 hour to play like video games or something, and that's it. That's like my only free time of the week. So I'm probably just going to do that to write up this game. Tank Dell goes for 150 tomorrow. Yeah, maybe. It's a good matchup for him. DFS, I think you mean. Who's your GPP quarterback? I think Will Levis. I think he's going to be solo owned. No one's going to want to play him, and I think he has potential to hit 25 fantasy points. If you have like some trepidation to play Will Levis, just remember that Desmond Ridder won the millionaire contest twice. He was the winning quarterback twice last year. And also Brock Osweiler once won someone $1 million. So
Brocky baby.
Yeah, that was the game where he played against Chicago. It was like week 7 or something. Both Miami quarterbacks got hurt, so he had to step in. And whoever played him like won $1 million because he was solo owned and he went off. That's what you're looking for, like upside and low ownership. Like that's what you get with Will Levis. I know he could bust easily. Like Will Levis sucks, but he has a great matchup. It's true. He has a great matchup. He has great weapons at his disposal. He has Ridley, Pollard. You could stack Ridley, Pollard, or Hopkins. Like you can do mix and match those guys. And it's like I said, Indianapolis just allowed Jacksonville to throw all over them. And this is not Trevor Lawrence from last year. This is Trevor Lawrence who's been struggling all year, and he just went off. So that's my pitch there. But well, yeah, he could throw an interception. So all right. Here's my last thing I'll say about Will Levis. He's Jameis Winston. Think about it. Remember, Jameis Winston threw for the 30-30 season, right? He was great. He looked great at times, and he was also awful. He threw 30 interceptions. Will Levis has great upside. Like he has a great ability. Like his arm is awesome. Like he can deliver the ball downfield with ease. But he also just makes these boneheaded decisions. So what you could do is you could play the Colts defense against Will Levis, hoping that he throws a pick 6 and then he has to come back and just throw a lot. That was the old trick with Winston. So like if Will Levis is Jameis Winston 2.0, then you can actually do that. I don't know if I'm going to do that. I don't know if I'm brave enough to do that, but I am going to be brave enough to play Will Levis at least.
Would you play Ridley and Hopkins with Levis on a lineup? I mean, other than a showdown.
I prefer to my lineup's going to be Levis with Ridley and Pollard. Not Hopkins. I don't know. Hopkins, I feel like he doesn't have the upside. Whereas like Pollard and Ridley could just go off for 30 each. Whereas like I feel like Hopkins' ceiling is like 20, and like he's not cheap enough. So, but you could do it. I don't think it's like the worst move.
Right.
Yeah. If making meme worthy picks was a stat, Levis would be a fantasy goat. That's absolutely true. Yeah. Levis only has 4 touchdowns in 4 games played. He's poor man's Winston at best. Well, he's young. With James Winston had some rough times in his younger years too. Let's see, 42, 45, and 3. Well, you should quit betting. Dude, with all the bad beats we had, that's actually a great record. We've had so much bad luck this year. Speaking of Will Levis, Will Levis cost us it's $2,000 net in the first 2 weeks with those decisions.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for Will Levis, we'd be up right now. So,
but he's gonna help. He's gonna help us bring it all back with a winning lineup.
He's gonna help me win the spy. He's gonna help me win 100.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Anyway,
oh my god. Yeah, let's what do we got here?
Yeah. All right. So next game, Cardinals and Packers. Your Green Bay Packers. Kind of curious what you have to say about this game. I really don't have much here because Jordan Love he seems to be banged up, but this could be it. He could have resurgence here because this was his original timeline to return, and the Cardinal defense is so bad. And then I don't know if Kyler Murray's gonna be distracted here. He's coming off a win and just signed a deal to be with the Call of Duty. So I don't know how focused he is for Green Bay. So whenever he has these Call of Duty things, he tends to suck. And now it's actually legit. He has a contract with them. So I don't know.
Dude, respect.
Yeah. So I'm leaning toward Green Bay. What do you have to say about this game?
I kind of went back and forth on this one. I originally liked the Packers, but now actually this year I've been pretty decent at picking the Packers. Remember last year I was always wrong. Mm-hmm. This year I've done pretty well actually. Okay. I'm actually I'm not going to bet this one, but I'll take the Cardinals. I don't know, I feel like this game could be another close one, kind of like that Rams game. Well, that what was it, 24-19, right?
Yeah.
Was that so? Yeah. Well, that's 5. That would be a push, and I just feel like it's going to be a similar game. Like that, and until I see like Jordan Love, he's made some good throws, but he's made some bad throws too. So I don't want to I think the Packers are going to win this game, but it could be close until I really see Jordan Love 100% back. A little closer to where I can have more peace of mind. I don't know. I could see the Cardinals keeping this close, or it could be a sweat. So I take the Cardinals here, but I probably won't bet it though.
I heard a stat. I was listening to a show. I can't remember whose show it was, but Jordan Love is dead last this year among starting quarterbacks in catchable passes thrown, which is kind of bizarre until you realize that he hasn't been healthy for 2 of the 3 starts that he's made. So I think that has to do with that. I think that he'll that'll regress positively to the mean.
Yeah.
My prop for this game is. Not Josh Jacobs. Josh Jacobs over 67.5 rushing yards. Arizona sucks against the run. I think that he should do well. So this is kind of crazy. Arizona has allowed a running back to accumulate at least 71 rushing yards in every game this year, except for week 2 against the Rams. That was a total blowout. Except for that game, every single game, 71 rushing yards. And his prop's only 67.5. So I think he should get there.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's see. When you regularly bet Levis and Bryce Young, that's what happens. Yeah. Well, not regularly, but Bryce Young. It's only twice. Only twice with Bryce Young. Is that regularly? I don't know. John, have your Bills worked on their inside the 5-yard line offense this week? Let's see. Boston Eckler. I like Eckler in DFS. Yeah, I like him quite a bit. I like Eckler. Bucky Irving is the play. I know he's gonna be chalky, but I think that it's gonna be tough for him to fail. The Saints rush defense just allowed Kareem Hunt to go for 100 yards. Bucky Irving is gonna get all the workload, including the pass the receiving workload. So I really think it's gonna be tough for him to fail. Unless he suffers an injury. So I would play him. Sometimes you just got to eat the chalk. Mike says I'm warming up. Exactly. Yeah. No more Bryce Young. So we're halfway there, and I'm not going to bet on Will Levis. Just play him in DFS. That's it. Quacky, you did predict the Packers to get their butt kicked by the Vikings.
Wait, I was back and forth on that game. I can't remember what I ended up saying. I thought I ended up saying the Packers, or maybe that's the joke, and you're rubbing it in. In which case, well played, sir. I can't remember what I picked on the show now. I mean.
Cassandra getting my back. Thank you, Cassandra.
Oh yeah, we appreciate that.
Yeah, appreciate it. I mean, look, we've had some bad luck. We had some bad calls too, for sure. But yeah, well, I think we'll get better.
Yeah, and I'm here to try to provide some laughs.
But we did us
Yeah,
together.
we had a good time.
We finished 58th in the Super Contest 2 years ago.
Yeah, yeah,
And I had a 7th place finish in 2020.
yeah,
So I think we can rebound.
yeah. We definitely can here.
Yeah, they saw the inside the 5 problem. Don't let your quarterback play concussed. That's let him go through protocol. That's probably the best move. All right,
What
so
do we got here? Oh, the Texans and the Patriots.
Texans Patriots Sharps has taken down this line from 7 to 6.5.
Give me the
all,
Patriots, baby.
All three of us have the Patriots on the card.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was talking to Eitan today, he's like, I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but I like the Patriots. And I was like, yeah, I do too.
No, I really like them too. You know what I think? How I think this is going to play out. Remember a game 2 years ago between the Vikings and the Utah Hockey Club down there in DC?
Yes, I remember that.
And the Minnesota Vikings. Yeah, the Minnesota Vikings were plus 3.5, or the Utah Hockey Club was plus 3.5, and they lost by 3. That was awesome. We had it on our card.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean the Texans are 4-1, but they are kind of is playing out. I think every game's been one score, right? It's playing out like that Vikings team who, remember, all year we were like they're frauds. I'm not suggesting that the Texans are frauds, but now the fact that they got Nico Collins on IR, that's not helping their situation. I mean, they haven't really run away with the game yet. Yeah. And I just feel like this is, and they've got a couple tough games coming up against the Packers, and then they've got another divisional game against the Colts, whom they only beat by 2 the first time around. So yeah, they've won. They're 4-1, but they haven't really done anything to impress me. And I just think that maybe they're a little bit. I don't know. I think this is a big opportunity for a letdown spot here, and I think this could be a close one. I really do.
Yep.
Or this could play out. Remember when the Patriots were +9 at Lambeau 2 years ago? It's like that. I'm not saying it'll play out the same way. So let me correct myself, but it has that kind of same feel. These games have that kind of that same kind of feel to me. I'm on the Patriots and I like them a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I do too. I think this will be a close game. The Houston just had a huge win last week. They had this big celebration in the locker room. The last second win against the Bills. The potential playoff matchup. And now they get to play it against a stupid Patriots team they don't really care about. And then next week they have the Packers. So it's a sandwich game here. The Patriots are going to be they're switching quarterbacks, which I always like. Drake May can run around. Houston has allowed a lot of rushing yards to running quarterbers. So
start Drake May.
You can start Drake May. I think that's fine. I'd rather go with Levis, but I think May is a fine option too.
Well, what if Drake May or Bo Nix?
Oh God, not again.
Let's keep moving.
No, let's not go with Bo Nix. My prop for this game is Dalton Schultz. So he hasn't been used that much, but last week he got used much more when Nico Collins got hurt. His prop is only 29.5 receiving yards, even though he's gotten the 34 receiving yards the past 2 games. And the Patriots, the Patriots allow a lot of receiving yards to tight ends. Just look at Jonnu Smith last week, for example. He had a huge game. I think Dalton Schultz could do well. Is Steve Vasquez a troll hyper Goodell? Yeah, I could maybe see that because he brought this up. Last year's record. But Steve Vasquez, if you want to post previous records, you can do you want to copy paste the 2022 record? That was we made more money than we lost in 2023. So if you would be so kind, you could post 2022.
Yeah.
It does not the negative stuff.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
it hurts our feelings and stuff, man.
I know. As grown men are our feelings. That's
we're handing out D-minuses here.
Yeah, the Bills the Bills had played a horrible game, and yeah, they almost won against Houston. I think John's on to something here. Allen's the only quarterback to start every game since 2019. Probably just jinx them. Probably, yeah. The Jets are clearly the side this week. I just don't know that I'm brave enough to take them or recommend them, but they're absolutely the side over the Bills. Yeah, we'll get to that. I love the Jets. Welcome to the Walt Football Show, episode number 87. Well, we're far beyond 87.
Yeah, what are you talking about, Matthias? And we're at 187 at least.
Well, you can probably do the math here. Hold on. So Yeah, where we fade good teams and back the crabbers.
Yeah. We've been doing it way more than 87 episodes, man. Come on now.
Yeah, so
Put respect on our name.
So we do 4 nights a week, and we are 1.5 years through. So that's actually, now that I think, well, I don't, yeah. So it's about we're what 300 or so.
Wow.
Because we're probably around 300. So I don't know the exact number, but that sounds about right. Ladies and gentlemen, 14 team PPR flex spot. Gibson. Gibson versus Pats. Mitchell, Colts. Schultz, Texans. Leggett, Carolina. Thoughts on Vidal? Vidal's a nice keep there because he's going to play if Dobbins gets hurt, like Gus Edwards is injured now. So, but you're not going to play Vidal this week. I think check the injury report Sunday morning if so Josh Downs and Michael Pittman Jr. They're both questionable. If they're both out, I think Mitchell's definitely the play. If he's out, then I would go with Gibson. I think that's what I do. 10 hours the Jaguars kick. Oh man, I'm seriously gonna have like 2 hours of sleep. I really hate these games. What are we doing with Devontae Adams? Just keep him. He's going to be traded soon, and you're going to be hoping that he goes to the Chiefs or the Bills, and not the Saints. I feel like Saints Steelers would be the worst. I think Chiefs Bills would be most ideal, and then I think the Jets. I only say the Jets third because they already have Garrett Wilson, so he's going to have to share the number one duties. But if he goes to the Chiefs or the Bills, he's automatically the number one. I think you're rooting for that. Jordan Love, first ballot Hall of Famer. We'll see. Maybe. Didn't use an episode number. I did. Yeah.
No, that's part of the Mandela effect.
Right. No, I used to do that when we did a weekly show, and really, I think we hit like 350 for the weekly show because we did that for like 7 years. And then I started going to 4 nights a week. But that was the WalterFootball.com podcast. This is the WalterFootball.com After Dark show. So much different. So I started for 1.
Yeah. Come on, you guys don't know the difference.
Exactly. Let's see. 12 hours till the Jaguars is the Bears. Yeah. Schefter tweeted they may not trade Adams now. Very odd. Oh, interesting. Maybe they're just posturing to get better leverage. Because they kind of announced it like, hey, you can have Adams, like a way to destroy your leverage. Good job, guys. Let's see. Makes me want to stab myself in the brain. These early games are a nightmare. Yeah, I don't. We talked to Andy. I was like, yeah, these 9:30 a.m. Start time suck, and he's like, yeah, imagine if it's 6:30 a.m. like it is here on the West Coast.
Oh, yeah, I bet they tailgate with omelets and crap, Western style, probably.
That's horrible. I can't believe they do 9:30 a.m. Like he's awful.
Yeah.
Roger should be on the
phone. You know what? Wake your ass up.
No,
I'm just kidding. It sucks. I hate it too, man.
I know it's horrible. Send your balls at the car door. All right. Anyway, let's as Bucks Saints. Bucks Saints is I think a tough one because on one hand you have a quarterback change, which I like. You have Spencer Rattler who has some upside. And whenever you have a backup quarterback against a middle tier or a bottom tier defense, they tend to cover at a high rate. So that makes me like the Saints. However, and plus we get plus 3.5. But however, if you look at the Buccaneers, it's twofold here. One is that the Saints are in a very tough schedule. They just played Monday night and then they play on Thursday. So they're going to be exhausted. And plus the Buccaneers played last Thursday. So they have it's called a 5-9 advantage where the Saints have 5 days of rest and the Buccaneers have 9 days of rest. It's very, very rare, but it does happen. And when it does happen, I believe the team that is 5-9 is 18-27 against the spread. So it's pretty bad. And then second fold, you have Todd Bowles who blitzes heavily, and that tends to really hurt rookie quarterbacks. So you have two conflicting things here. I don't know how to handicap this game. Do you have a strong opinion on this one?
No, I don't. But I wonder if Rattler goes for like a nice run, like for like a 12-yard run for a first down, you think they're gonna be like Rattler slithers his way? They're gonna make
Oh, God.
Spencer the Snake Rattler if he has a good game, and people will be out there shaking the rattles if he if he does well. I guarantee it. I guarantee. With that said, I don't know. I don't have an opinion on this game, but I'll take the Saints. Give me the Snake, man. Give me Rattler. I don't know the Bucks. What it was 3.5 on the Super Contest card. Where is it looking? Where are we looking now? Is it right around there? Or
yeah, it's still 3.5. Hasn't moved since. It moved. It was Saints minus 2.5 when Derek Carr was supposed to start, and then flipped to plus 2.5, and then it rose to plus 3.5.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to touch this one, but I'd take the Saints, I guess, but I'm not going to touch it.
Yeah, I like your snake idea. I would tie in the silver snakes from A Legend Hidden Temple.
Oh,
somehow. Yeah, I think he needs to. He needs to. If he does well, he could bring that show back. I really think they should bring back that show and make it for adults and make it like way more challenging. Because
I used to get so pissed at the kids. They'd run into the River Guardians or whatever they were.
Yeah, the Temple Guards.
Like, the Temple Guards. It's like, come on, like you can't. Or like, remember the show Guts?
Yeah, I was never a fan of it.
I liked it, but I was pissed because it's like some of these kids like have absolutely no athletic ability.
Yeah.
How do I get myself on this stupid show?
Yeah,
I never did.
Well, so, what really killed me is like they would like obviously the item you have to retrieve would be in like different rooms, and sometimes it would be in like the heart room or like the throne of the pretender. It'd be like right away, and like it would be so easy to go in and just get it, like. But they would never open that door. The door would just be locked, so you'd have to like go around. And like these kids would always try to open the door as if they were going to make it so easy for them, and it never worked. And I was always yelling at the TV like, "No, you have to go up." Like I don't know. It's really.
I always loved on Guts or Mike O'Malley he's like, let's send it over to Mo with the standings, Mo, and then they would send it over to Mo and like, in third place with 200 points was Jeremy. Let's keep it moving. Eagles and Browns here.
Actually, the guy who voiced Olmec is actually famous now. I think he's like one of the top voice actors. That was like his first gig. Was it
Steve Bloom? Steve Bloom holds the world record for. I took a voice acting master class or like watched one with him once. He's done like a trillion.
Is D. Bradley Baker?
D. Bradley Baker. The name sounds very familiar.
Who he's American Dad. He did SpongeBob the movie, Space Jam.
Oh, okay.
He's in like everything.
Wow.
So I'm on his IMDb and he has like 1 million.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, that was his first gig.
I did not. Wow, that's really neat.
Yeah.
But,
what
do we got here?
Let's see here. So let's. My prop for this game. Chris Godwin over at 62.5 receiving yards. I think that's pretty low. The Saints have allowed a lot of production to slot receivers. Just saw what Juju Smith-Schuster did Monday night, right? Like it feels like Chris Godwin should be able to hit that, and like he's gone over 64 receiving yards in 4 of his previous 5 games. And yet the prop is only 62.5. It makes no sense. So I like him to get there. Browns, Eagles. I believe this line is now 9.5. Just want to check real fast. No, it's down to 8.5. Interesting, because it was 8.5. It went to 9.5. Now it's back down to 8.5. So that's so now that I can't tease the Jaguars, I might tease the Eagles down to 2.5, and with the Jets up to 8 or 8.5. So that's going to be the plan here. I don't plan to bet on this game otherwise. I feel like such a noob taking the Eagles because I always like look at the Browns ever since week 1 when they missed Jedrick Wills and Jack Conklin. I'm like, all right, this team's going to suck until they get their tackles back, and then they're going to be better. But I don't know how much better because Deshaun Watson is terrible. But I think that the Eagles still are the play here, but I don't want to bet this game. I think this line's a little too high, at least compared to what it was a week ago in the advanced spread, which is 6.5. I guess maybe this is just sticker shock, but I still would lean toward the Eagles. But like I said, teaser is, I think, the way to go. What are your thoughts on this game?
Remember before the season started, I said if anyone wants to bet Deshaun Watson to win the MVP, I'll take your bet. Unfortunately, no one placed any bets with me, but it would have been a good scenario for me. Don't back the Browns here. I mean, it's Eagles or nothing. I think. I just think this Browns team is so bad, but I don't know that sometimes the Eagles. I always feel like the Philly teams, like when the chips are down, like that's when they do really well. I mean, we've been through this 1,000 times, and like when then it's a game that's like they're expected to win. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I feel like this is going to be a weird score, like 30-18 or something, in the Eagles cover. So for me, it's Eagles or nothing. I'm not going to touch this one. I've decided. So
okay. My prop for this one's AJ Brown over receiving yards. It's only 66.5. Which, again, this feels like super low. He's coming off injury, so maybe that's why, but he practiced fully, so I'm not worried about it. And Cleveland has been bad to receiver ones this year, as good as their defense should be, and it's not really as good as usually is because Myles Garrett is banged up. They've been very weak to receiver ones, so I like AJ Brown to go over there. Sue says Saints backup offensive line with rookie gunslinging quarterback on a short week. What could go wrong? It could get ugly. You're right. It could be. Remember, I don't know if you remember this game last year. It was Tennessee at Tampa. Will Levis started, and Will Levis had some good starts heading into the game, and he started at Tampa. And I like the +3.5 there. And Tampa just destroyed Will Levis. Like he just looked like a deer in the headlights against the Todd Bowles' defense. I think it could be the same sort of deal. But once again though, I just it's a tough number to take Tampa -3.5 on the road. Because I'm just saying it's on the way to 4. So if you like the Saints, just wait till 4. But I agree. It looks like it's switching to 4. Timothy says I was just on your Walt football site. Well, thanks for visiting the site. The site was just as bad as the podcast. All right. Nice. Anyway, Colts at the Titans. Have to check this line. Because it's 3 or 2.5 in some places. So I mean, you play games with the VIG at that point. I don't know what to make this game. I've kind of gone back and forth. Because on one hand, the Colts have a lot of injuries, and again, like I said, Will Levis has, as bad as he's been, and he's made so many bad decisions. He's had such a tough matchup, like a series of matchups, and this is his easiest matchup of the year. So he should, in theory, play better. But then again, can you really bet him as a favorite? I don't know. So, and plus, I feel like the Colts injuries were kind of overblown, and so I think that's why the line went to 2.5 or 3 in the first place. So I don't have a good read on this game. Do you?
I don't either. I'll take the Titans though. I've absolutely. I wouldn't touch this game with a 50-foot pole.
So. Okay. I don't blame you.
Sorry to the viewers at home.
Tom, how dare you not have a strong take on every game?
Yeah, I know. I have to. Remember, someone said on here I didn't have any balls once.
Really?
Yeah, it was like 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
I mean, like I give a crap, but I mean, like we're here. Like I have some decent takes from time to time, but like we're here to have a good time, and you're the expert here, so.
Oh, well, thank you.
Balls or not, so.
Prop here, Calvin Ridley over 42.5 receiving yards. He was 50 plus in his first 2 games, even though those matchups were tough. And then he got shut down by Jair Alexander in week 3. And then week 4, the Titans were up by so much they barely threw. So it feels like he should be able to rebound. Might be a squeaky wheel situation. And the Colts, again, I've touched on this before. The Colts pass defense has been terrible. So it feels like Ridley should be able to get there pretty easily, 42.5. I like that a lot. Kim McGill says, is it true the Saints center was just picked up off the Packers practice squad? Who is their center? Because they just lost their center. So it is Kyle Hergel. I guess. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who this guy is, Kyle Hergel. But no, they've Connor McGovern. That's who it is. But yeah, they're starting him. He's been a career backup. So, it is. The Saints' offensive line's in shambles. But then again, they've been in shambles all year. I don't know how this team has even won 2 games. And they won those 2 games convincingly. Remember, the Saints were 2-0, and they blew out both the Panthers and the Cowboys. We thought that, hey, maybe they're going to make Super Bowl run or something. But how quickly things have changed now. It's like you assume they're going to be 2-4 after this game. And with the the season win total under, which looked awful after 2 weeks, might actually look pretty good now.
Yeah, don't count out the snake, man.
That's, so the silver snake.
Yeah.
Vrabel is still head coach. I have no reservations back in the Titans. I agree. I think Brian Callahan's been a disaster so far. How many points would you give a team coming off a bye? I normally give a team half a point for coming off a bye. Now, if they have a great coach who can really take advantage of that, like Andy Reid, Sean McVay, John Harbaugh, Jim Harbaugh, I'll give them 1 point, but generally half a point. Hanson says Mike Evans plus Tyreek Hill or Chase plus Devontae Smith. A full PPR leaning Tyreek, but nervous about Tua. Nervous. This is a this is a trade. Mike Evans and Hill, Chase. I'd rather Chase Devontae because Tua, you don't know. I mean, he's due back week 8, but we don't know if that's going to be true or one more concussion, he's done for the year. And plus like Godwin has been the more productive receiver, not touchdown wise, but yardage wise. Touchdowns could come and go. So that could regress the mean. So I'd rather have Chase Devontae Smith. So anyway, let's get to the late afternoon slate. Chargers at Broncos. I had to talk Eitan off the Broncos. He was trying to submit it for the card. I'm like, no, Chargers is the way to go. So the Chargers are getting both tackles back. They're getting Derwin James back. Justin Herbert should theoretically be healthier. And Denver has kind of been a fraud, I think. They've won 3 games, but they caught Tampa off that revenge game against the Lions. Tampa's not focused. They caught the Jets flying to London afterward, coming off a big win against the Patriots. Not a big win, but divisional game on prime time. So the Jets were not focused. And then last week, the Raiders had like 10 injuries, and they just weren't – it couldn't be competitive. So the Broncos' 3 wins are just kind of fraudulent. This is a paper tiger 3-2 team. And it says a lot that the Chargers are favored on the road here. And I like these spots here. Tom, I know you like this is something you like in college football when an unranked team is favored over a ranked team. And I think this is kind of like the corollary here, where you have you have a team with a worse record on the road favored against a team with a better record.
It's a really good comparison there.
Yeah. Actually, I can't quite take credit for this. So Jason B pointed this out to me on Facebook. So he's like, yeah, he asked me to look up how this is done over the years, and I did that. And over the years, the team with the worst record favored on the road against the team with the better record, they're 87-70 against the spread week 4 onward. And I say week 4 because like a team that's 2-1 favored by over a team that's 1-2, doesn't mean as much, we 87-70 against the spread.
87-7?
87-70. Sorry.
Oh,
that would be remarkable if that was.
I was like, say less, dude.
Yeah, 55% cover rate. Not like amazing, but still, I think pretty good. And that's probably what the cover rate is for unranked favorite over ranked favorite. You know what I mean?
I'm over here like 87-7. Holy God, like, that's a goal.
Bet the house in the chart. Bet the house in the Chargers and the Bengals. That applies to them as well.
Oh my God.
It also applied to the 49ers, by the way.
Yeah, I like the San Diego Superchargers here. You guys know the song, right? San Diego Superchargers. If you don't know it, you got to check it out. I like the Superchargers here for the same reason. Kind of reminds me of the what was it when weren't the Ravens -2.5 against the Bills? And I was like, oh, it kind of seemed it kind of seems, not comparing these two teams to those two teams, but it does. That line feels weird to me. While I do want the Broncos to do well, I always like to cheer them on. I think this is a spot I think the Chargers are going to win pretty handily. I don't see them winning by less than 7 here. That line is suspicious for the same reasons you mentioned. I like the Chargers, and I know we got them on our card. So,
yeah. So yeah, I like that we have him in the card. I'm going to bet this game if Joey Bosa plays. If he's out, I don't know if I'll try to touch it, but we'll stay tuned to see if Bosa plays. So asking, with the advent of replay, verified turnovers, score, and video assist for the press box, would you say standard home field advantage of 3 is now only 1 or 1.5? I think yeah. I mean, for a number of reasons. Also, yeah, I know for a fact the sportsbooks don't give 3 for home teams anymore. They used to, but that hasn't been the case for a while. Now the argument is it 1 or 1.5? I was talking to Evan about this, our Tuesday co-host, and so we had this discussion off air, but he gives 1.5 points for home. I give 1 point for home. Now, if it's a team with a great home field advantage, like a Seattle or Denver, or I can't really think of another one, but or Green Bay, for example, if it's going to be like very cold there and like a warm team's coming in, then I'll give like 1.5 or maybe even 2 at that case. But usually for a standard game, it's 1, and there are certain teams that even get 0, like Chargers get 0, Redskins get 0. There's I think Raiders probably, I have to look that up, but there are certain teams that have 0 home field advantage. In fact, the Chargers have a negative home field advantage just because the opposing fans flood the stadium. So, yeah. So, so you're definitely onto something there. It's not 3. It hasn't been 3 for a while. Dusso is saying, curious who you prefer this week, Dobbins or Bucky. If I say Bucky, Dobbins has a much tougher matchup. And the Chiefs just ran for 103 yards with Kareem Hunt against the Saints defense. And I think Bucky Irving is going to be very involved with the receiving game, whereas like Dobbins is not involved in the receiving game all that much. So yeah, so I would go with Bucky Irving. Instruction unclear, but the house in the 87-7 Chargers.
Instruction unclear. That's great. Yeah, I was over here like, what? I was about to lay an egg over here. Yeah. What do we got next here?
Yeah, no player prop here. By the way, I don't really. I looked. I didn't see anything I liked, so I just passed on it. Steelers at the Raiders. The Raiders have some injury question marks that we'll have to check Sunday morning, or I guess Sunday afternoon around 3:00. So, I like the Raiders. Assuming that they don't have like too many inactives. Like if Max Crosby is not playing, then I suddenly have a lot less interest. But he's questionable. He practices limited basis on Friday. And then you have Jacoby Myers, who might have a chance to play. He also practiced on a limited basis on Friday. So we'll see who plays for them, and that's going to dictate how many units I have on the Raiders. But I think I like the Raiders regardless. Like the Steelers just seem like fraudulent to me. Except for week 1. So they had a nice win week 1 against Atlanta. That was Kirk Cousins' first game. He didn't have any chemistry yet with his receivers. Ever since that game, think about what the Steelers have done. They beat Denver 13-6. Like, okay, that's an okay win. It was on the road, sure. Week 3, they were trailing the Chargers when Justin Herbert left the game, and then they dominated Taylor Heineke. Like, the Chargers were doing better than the Steelers. And I say this as someone who bet the Steelers in that game. I bet them heavily, and the Chargers were outplaying them. So that win shouldn't really count. Then week 4, they were getting blown out by the Colts before late garbage time. They got close. Like the Colts were manhandling them, and they just weren't doing well. And then last week, they got outgained by 200 yards against the Cowboys. They can't stop Dallas. Dallas had like a 14-play drive to win the game. And I know Dallas won on the final play, but still, like Pittsburgh got outplayed in that game. They got lucked out by Dallas just committing so many turnovers in the red zone. So that's what the Steelers have done this year, and they're favored by 3 on the road.
Yeah, I'm with you.
So you like the Raiders then?
I do too. Yeah. So I mean, say less. I'm not gonna say anything you didn't already say. That's beautiful. I think the Raiders could win outright.
Okay.
Give it to me. Give it to me.
Okay. Sue says LSU Ole Miss coin flip. The ref caught the coin, lift onto the ground. LSU won the toss.
Jeez, man.
That's great. That's awesome. Matthias asking, will Jalen bum-ass Warren get some carries this week? He's healthy. He should. And Najee Harris looks like he's 300 pounds. Like it's an embarrassment. So I think I do think Warren will be in the mix. John Sanders, I like Tomlin coming for loss. Plus, the Raiders are starting a socialist quarterback. Yeah, yeah, Green New Deal O'Connell at quarterback. It's I don't know. I do like the quarterbacking change for the Raiders. That's another reason why I like the Raiders. I believe I have a no. I don't have a player prop for this game either. I don't know why. I might. I'm like wondering if I should bet Najee Harris under just because Warren's coming back. Plus, like I said, he's extremely overweight. So yeah, I might do that. I don't know. When I first looked, I didn't see anything, but now I might bet Najee Harris under. We'll see. So Falcons Panthers, I like this one a lot. So a lot has been made about the Panthers offensive line injuries. So they're going to be missing Austin Corbett and Taylor Moton. Corbett is the worst offensive lineman. I know he's a center, which is an important position, but he was not playing all that well. Now, like Brady Christensen could be a disaster. He hasn't played center, but neither did Austin Corbett. So I don't know. I mean, is it a huge loss? I don't think so. It might just be like a minor loss. Moton is a much better player, but their backup is Josh Nijman, who was decent as a backup before. Like he's a good reserve. And the Panthers still have Ekwonu, they still have Robert Hunt, they still have Damian Lewis, they still have a good offensive line, I think. And plus, Atlanta doesn't rush the passer, so I'm really not concerned about that. You have Atlanta here coming off an overtime win against a divisional rival. Now they played at Carolina, also a divisional opponent, but like I don't think Carolina is really on the radar. Atlanta lost here last year. I know that wasn't with Cousins, but Carolina's offense was much worse back then. I feel like the Panthers should be able to move the ball against Atlanta's 25th ranked defense. So I like Carolina here. We're getting great line value because this advanced spread was +3 and now it's +6. So yeah, sign me up for Carolina. It just sucks that we're not getting the two offensive linemen, but I think that's okay. So what are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, I mean, I like the Panthers too, but boy, am I hesitant. I mean, this team, I just feel like it's hard for me to back them. I really like them for the same reasons you mentioned, but I just feel like they're the team that's like they burned us a few times. And while I can definitely see it playing out the way that you do, like what if the Falcons ran like 34-10 or something like, I don't know. I don't have much. Like I take the Panthers as well. I really do like them, but I can't. I need to see the Panthers do something before I can back them again personally. So I won't be betting the game, but I would take the Panthers.
Fair enough. I think the Panthers, Atlanta's defense is too bad to give up only 10 points. I think. I feel like this might I think this might come down to a backdoor cover, but I still think Carolina could beat them, given that Atlanta might not be focused.
Oh, I've got a DFS move for you. Okay, showdown. Put Bryce Young in the captain spot, and then like somehow like they pull, and he comes and he lights it up.
So not only do you need Dalton to get hurt, you also need Bryce Young to have the game of his life.
Dude, you definitely win the $1 million.
Well, first of all, there's no $1 million for showdown. Here.
I know.
It's like $5,000.
You definitely win.
I'd be happy with $5,000, but that's not.
Could you imagine if that happened? Where they're like, "Psych, we're putting him back in, man." It's like, oh shit, no one's gonna draft him. Oh.
I think DraftKings might flag you for being like a time traveler if you did that lineup and actually played out that way.
No, because I'll just show them footage of this podcast.
You can still be a time traveler.
Oh yeah, it's my first time traveling. I don't know the rules, man. Let's keep it moving here. What do we got with the Cowboys?
The temporal.
Get some props or something.
No, oh yeah, we do have a prop here. It's let's see, it's Drake London over 65.5 receiving yards. Carolina has been the Carolina's been awful against outside receivers. So Drake London and Darnell Mooney could do well. So if you're doing that showdown, you can play both of those guys, run it back with Deontay Johnson, Chuba Hubbard. And I think Algier might be interesting here. Bijan Robinson is dealing with shoulder and hamstring injuries, so he may not get the full workload. And we actually lost the player prop last Thursday playing Bijan Robinson over receiving yards. and it was so frustrating because 2 of the final 3 drives was Tyler Algier was featured. Not only like he was not just mixed in, he was the featured back on those 2 of the last 3 drives. Like, and that includes overtime. So like Bijan Robinson clearly not 100%. So yeah, don't play. I would not play Bijan this week, even though the matchup looks great, and he could go off if he's healthy now. But he's been dealing with injuries, so I would be careful there. Yeah, Bryce Young burned you, not the Panthers. It's a good point.
Fair.
It's a great point. Let's see. Do the Steelers receivers hate the alien mustache and vice versa? Never seen so many passes to tight ends instead of wide receivers. Yeah, but I don't know what happened with Pickens. Like there was he got benched last week for just loafing it on the field. So yeah, he was. I don't know. So that is why. Chris says, good evening, Walter. Good to see Quacky back from your duck orgies and hurricanes. 2 events that are often mistaken for the same thing.
They are often, except no substitutes.
Well, you made a Sharknado movie. Maybe we'll have a duck orgy or Sharknado movie.
Exactly.
Movie.
People will pay for it. Yeah.
Yes.
What's up, Chris Morris? How you doing, man?
All right, Lions at Cowboys.
Give me the Lions, baby.
All right, tell us why.
Because this Cowboy team is freaking dog water, man.
Yeah,
dude, the Lions are. I don't know. I feel like in the public eye, people don't. I mean, I don't have much as for analysis, but like this Lions team is legit, and like I think people think they're really good, but I do expect them to make a run at the Super Bowl again this year. And this Cowboys team, I mean, come on, they barely beat the Giants on that Thursday night. It's just. Like they beat the Steelers, but as you were just testifying, if you will, the Steelers ain't. I don't know. The Steelers team is not as good as their record indicates. I don't think. Yes, their defense is solid. Cowboys really haven't proven anything to me. The Lions, I think their only loss is to Tampa, right? And Tampa has proven to play pretty well, and that was a revenge spot. I just think the Lions are the much better team here. I think this could be a double-digit win for them.
Yeah, and that loss to Tampa, they outgained Tampa by 230 yards. Like they reached the red zone 7 times and came away with only 1 touchdown. So that was just a very fluky result. They were coming off an overtime game on national TV against their former quarterback, and Tampa had revenge on their minds, and the Lions just took that game for granted. They didn't show up. It's a team with bigger fish to fry later in the year. Like they're not going to go all out every game, but this is a national TV game. This is a revenge spot. Dallas beat them last year late in the season. They're going to take Dallas seriously, and Detroit is a much better team than Dallas. I think this line should be at least 5.5. 3, I think, is a gift. It's up to 3.5 now. So I hope you guys locked in the 3. But yeah, even at 3.5, I do like Detroit. Not 5 units, but I still like Detroit. Maybe 2-3 units. It's because 3 is such a key number, but still, I still like the Lions a lot. Probably 3 units. No player props here yet. I was kind of wondering why. I didn't really see anything. Like, there's no good values. I didn't see any player props. So we'll have something for the Sunday night game. I did notice this too. Matthias is saying, according to Herb Street, the Lions are not in the conversation of the top NFC team. Yeah, Herb Street I guess in the Niners Seahawks game, he started rattling off like all the top teams in the NFC. And he's like the Niners are the top tier team. You have the Packers, you have the who else? The Eagles, you have the Cowboys. He didn't mention the Lions at all, and I did notice that as well. I'm like, no Lions. So that's another reason they might feel disrespected and they might go all out. Probably not.
Oh, let's go.
Yeah. All right. So Sunday night game, Bengals at the Giants. This is 3.5, even though Malik Neighbors has been ruled out. I was kind of surprised the line didn't go up. There's a lot of public money on Cincinnati, but sometimes the public is right, and I think this might be an instance where it is. Joe Burrow coming up a loss in his career is 16-7 against the spread. I love backing good quarterbacks coming off a loss because they're going to be at their best. And the Bengals are 1-4. Like, they have to win this game. Really, this is their season. They fall to 1-5. They're toast. 1-4. You can come back from 1-4. I've seen it happen before. I like the Bengals a lot here. What are your thoughts on this one?
They're definitely the much stronger team. I know the Giants won without Neighbors last week, but that's against the Seahawks team I'm not really high on. I just can't imagine the Bengals not covering this. But I also don't like the fact that I think it makes sense. I mean, I would think that most people would like them, but like you said, the public, despite such heavy action, that does come through. But it's not if that's the situation, it's not one I usually like to take. But with that said, I do like the Bengals here. I don't think I'll bet them, but I do like them.
And yeah, this is the situation I mentioned before, where the team with the worst record is favored on the road against the team with a better record. So there are 3 instances of that this week: the Chargers, Bengals, and the Niners, who ended up covering. So that's actually now 88-70, not 88-7, but 88-70 against the spread. Chris says he also has that incredible Ohio State education, which was on full display tonight as their quarterback slid with no time left on the clock. Oh man, I want to watch that game. I did DVR it, so we'll see. And by the way, no, I should mention this. No college football recaps this week from Charlie. He currently is without power in Tampa.
Yeah, he got hit hard.
Yeah, his house got hit hard. Unfortunately, there was some damage. So but fortunately, he and his family are okay. It's the most important thing. But so he does not think he's going to get power for several days. So we're not going to have any content from Charlie. It's understandable. So anyway, the Monday night game is my favorite of the week. Bills at the Jets. Bills are favorite at 2.5. Actually, this dropped to 2. I love the Jets. First of all, Josh Allen has some injuries. We don't know if it's a concussion or if it's something else. I feel like the Bills were lying about the concussion so they didn't get in trouble. His head clearly hit the ground hard, and he was going in the blue tent. And then they had a turnover, and he's like, no, I want to come back in. And he just ran out on the field, and then he threw deep passes from the 3-yard line nonstop. So I'd be shocked if he didn't have a concussion. Let's be real here. So quarterbacks off of concussion have been awful. Such a terrible track record over the years. I don't have the number in front of me, but it's just brutal. And then with the Jets, you have the coaching change. Not only is Saleh gone, but Hackett's no longer going to be calling plays, which is a huge boost for the Jets. The Bills also have some injuries. Ed Oliver's been ruled out. James Cook may not play. Even if he does, he may not be 100%. Same thing with Khalil Shakir. Plus, they've had other injuries recently. So this Bills team is not 100% at all. And Josh Allen going 9 for 30. The receiving core is terrible. The Jets have the number 2 defense in the NFL. And the Jets, MetLife has been a house of horrors for Josh Allen. He's not done well there in the past. Ever since Sauce Gardner joined the team, he's not done well. So, I love the Jets here. I think they're going to win. And I'm teasing. Not only am I betting them heavily, going to tease them as well with probably the Eagles. So what are your thoughts on this game?
I really love the Jets too. I mean, the Jets beat the Bills at home with Zach Wilson at the helm last year. Remember?
Yep.
I also think because of that, there might be some additional motivation here for Aaron Rodgers. Combine that with the since this is who they were playing when he got hurt against. I don't know. It seems like as good a reason as any to motivate somebody. And also just that combined with Jeff Saturday syndrome. Line them up, man. I like the Jets here. I like them a good bit, and I know they made our card. So,
yeah, glad we agree on that. I don't have player prop yet. I'll have them Monday afternoon. Oh, I forgot the player prop Sunday night. I actually just posted this. We had a same game parlay as well, which, by the way, we hit last Monday night. We hit our same game parlay.
Oh, beautiful.
So hopefully we get another one here. We almost hit the same game parlay on Thursday night. We had 4 legs. 3 of them hit. The only one that didn't hit was Jordan Mason over 80 rushing yards, and he got hurt in the second quarter.
Yeah.
So he was on pace for 150. He definitely would have gotten there. So that would have been a third singing parlay that hit. But anyway,
oh man,
my favorite prop in this game is Darius Slayton over 49.5 receiving yards. He went way over that last week, and Cincinnati's been brutal against outside receivers, and that was with Dax Hill. And Dax Hill was the top cornerback, and he's out. So I feel like Slayton's going to have a big game. Otherwise, you can see my singing parlay here. Zach Moss over 15.5 receiving yards. Chase Brown under 13.5 receiving yards. And Tyrone Tracy with Devin Singletary out over 58.5 rushing yards. So that's the same game parlay here. We're going to have a same game parlay for the Jets Bills and also a prop prop bet as well. I'm going to post that Monday afternoon. Ron says, I really think Ohio is a 6 state. Well, that's where they eat the dogs, right? They eat the dogs. They have issues there. Neighbors being out is huge. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Although I do like Slayton. Speaking of neighbors, do you stream Slayton or play Myers with Adams out? Well, Myers is not healthy, so I'd play Slayton. So it's a better matchup too. Take the under Bills Jets. Yeah, I think I agree with that. Let's see who I have in the under on the total, I should say. I have under 40. I have under 41. So yeah, we agree there, John.
I like that call. Yeah.
Yeah, Bills riddled with injuries too. Yeah, for sure. Taron Johnson coming back is huge for the Bills. Yeah, I saw that. I don't know if he's gonna be healthy though. So his practice reports say that he was limited. Actually, I actually didn't see the full practice report. Let me see. I saw that he was limited for most of the week so far. I assume he's going to come back, but I don't know if he's going to be 100%. So Taron Johnson, yeah, limited. Like that tells me he may not be 100%. Like the fact that he didn't log a full practice yet, that could be wrong. Like maybe he's going to be 100%, but still. I don't know. Baron says the Patriots money line too greedy. Well, think about all the upsets that have happened this year. You know, like is it that crazy that it's gonna happen? Like I think you can sprinkle a little bit on it. I wouldn't go crazy with it, but I think you can win some money there.
Agreed.
Jets need to go old school. Just have a player coach. Rodgers call all the plays. That'd be fun. And then Allen's never lost 3 straight. Well, first time for everything, right?
Exactly.
And he's usually had Stephon Diggs at his disposal, and now he doesn't. So this is the first time. Is it the first time he's lost 2 in a row without Stephon Diggs? Like,
I'm not sure.
I don't know. So
no, I feel like they've lost 2 in a row before
without Stephon Diggs, though. Because they've had Stephon Diggs. Like now.
Okay, my bad. I misunderstood.
obviously, he's rookie. I'm not talking about like his rookie year. Like after that, like when he became a good quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. First year starter. Yeah, I'm not talking about first year as a starter. He was pretty rough. I think second year onward. Like I wonder how they would have done that. So anyway, so that's that's it for our picks. Do you have anything else you want to bring up? Did you want to look at the week 7 lines? Any Super Bowl futures? We can talk for a little bit more if you want.
Yeah, let's see. I can hang for maybe just a little bit longer. I was talking earlier about maybe I will start tweeting out some of my hockey picks. Hopefully I didn't just jinx myself here. But the hockey picks have been pretty solid. I like the Sabres tonight too, and I didn't take it. And they won easily too. So I've getting the hot hand a little bit here. So maybe I'll tweet some of those out. I always make Walter and Jacob privy to them, and Walter can vouch for it. But I do like the Utah Hockey Club, especially because, like I said, if they were still the Arizona Coyotes, they would probably be like 40-1 to win the Cup, or like 45 to 50 to 1, like getting 60-1 at least where I am stuck here in Florida with Hard Rock. You're getting a better number, I think, because of that. Because you're going to be like that's not a sexy pick. The Utah Hockey Club. So some people might be like, who the hell is this even? Your instinct is going to be like they're not good. They must not be good. They're an expansion team or something. It's that I'm telling you that Coyotes team last year they didn't make the playoffs, but they had their moments. They are really really young. Like Gunther and Keller and what's his name, Krause. And I can't remember the other guy's name. Is it Schultz? Not Schultz. I'm over here. I don't even know one of the players' names. They've got a good young core.
You could just make up names and people won't know.
Yeah, but I don't want to do that. But yeah, I'm just saying. Or you know what? I should see what the number is for them to make the playoffs. I think they're definitely good. They have a great shot to make the playoffs. They're stars on the rise. So with that information, bet accordingly, and hey, maybe they take a dunk and they're terrible the rest of the year. Anything can happen, but the value is there. So maybe I think they're definitely going to make the playoffs. So take that for what it's worth. But usually it's definitely the best sport I handicap by far is NHL. Walter can give a testimonial.
Well, I need to ask you about the Flyers because I brought them up 75-1. Do you think they're any good or my dad and my doctor are just a little crazy here.
Yeah, I mean, I have no reason to believe the Flyers ceiling is anything but mediocre. But I don't know. Like I don't expect them to be like better than mediocre.
Okay.
But there might be, like I do follow it closely, but like I don't know, like the Flyers, to my knowledge, I think the Devils could be good this year. They kind of had a letdown year last year, but I think early on here, like the Utah Hockey Club, they've got some good young talent. Like they could like maybe make like catch lightning in a bottle, maybe beat a team they're not supposed to in the playoffs, and now all of a sudden, like you might be in a decent situation. It's a very young team. Very young team. They have their issues, but so take it for what it's worth.
Let's see. Get your soccer while you still can. If Trump wins, soccer will be banned. if only. Let me ask you about this one. Bengals 34-1 to win the Super Bowl. Because I said at the beginning of the year, I like the Bengals. I thought they're going to get off to a slow start, and then I wanted to bet a good number on them. Like this is the right move. Like if you think the Bengals will win this week, you have to like them next week against the Browns. I know they struggle against the Browns, but still, like this Browns team is much worse than what they faced recently. So they could suddenly be 3-4, and they have another tough game after that. I think it's against the Eagles, and then they have to play the Ravens. But outside of those two games, I think they have a very easy schedule the rest of the way. Like, this is a team that could go on a roll here. Now they could also just implode as well, but I said it back in July, August. I was like, yeah, I want to bet the Bengals. We're not getting a good number, but at some point we will. And 34-1 is great. We might even get something better. I think I'm going to put a bet on the Bengals, even though they're 1-4. We've seen 1-4 teams come back. One team that comes to mind is the 2002 Jets under Herm Edwards. They were 1-4. They rallied and made the playoffs. They actually went to the second round of the playoffs that year, and they ran into a Raiders buzzsaw. But that was with Chad Pennington, by the way. I think the Bengals are a great bet here at 34-1, or maybe even better, depending where you look. What do you think about this one?
I'm looking at their schedule right now. I like it too, actually. I mean,
yeah. Let me read out the schedule because I might as well, right? Because I said it.
Imagine, I could, that's tough to win 4 in a row here. But if they beat the Giants, Browns, Eagles, and Raiders, now all of a sudden they're 5-4 playing the Ravens again.
Yep.
Who knows where there will be. Even.
Yeah. So
I don't know. That's definitely possible. It's tough. Obviously, it's tough to win 4 straight, but they've.
Okay, let me read out the schedule.
Yeah,
so they have the Giants this week. I think they'll win. They have the Browns next week. Given the state of the Browns, I think they should win that one. Now they host the Eagles. Now the Eagles are a good team, but they're at home, and the Eagles have problems with their defense. So it feels like this is a game the Bengals can win by throwing all over the Eagles. So I think three wins in a row here is possible, and then they have the Raiders. So they could, before we know it, they could be 5-4, and everyone's talking about them as being the hottest team in the league. After that, they have the Ravens. That's on a Thursday night. So okay, maybe they lose that one. But with extra rest, they take on the Chargers, so I don't think they're that good. They host the Steelers off a bye, so that'll help them there. They play against Dallas. We talked about how we don't like Dallas. Then they play against Tennessee, not a good team. They play the Browns again, not a good team. They host the Broncos, who are not a good team, and then okay, sorry.
And then the Steelers again,
and then the Steelers to close out the year. So this is a team that can go a run. Like they're what, 2 tough games? Sorry, Tom, 3. The two tough games, Eagles and Ravens, and one of them's at home. So even if they split 1-1, they could win. They can still win 10 games here and make the playoffs. And with Joe Burrow in the playoffs, like we've seen him light teams up and go far. Like, and there's no dominant powerhouse, in the AFC. Like the Chiefs are 5-0, but they've squeaked by teams. They should have lost to the Bengals week 2. You have the Ravens, who have their faults. The Bills are floundering right now. Maybe they'll get hot and late in the year. Houston's 4-1, but they're 22nd in net EPA. Like, who else is there even? Like the Chargers. Like it feels like there's a lot of upward mobility here for Cincinnati, and I like Cincinnati quite a bit. At 34-1, I'm definitely going to take a shot on that.
I think I'm going to take it.
Yeah.
I'm over here thinking this is really. I mean, that could definitely happen.
Yeah, John, great point here. What would the number be if McPherson makes that field goal? 34-1 to steal. Yeah, they should have beaten the Baltimore, and they should have beaten Kansas City. These are two teams that are considered top 5 teams by most people. Like, they should have beaten both teams. Granted, both at home, but still, like, their record could easily be 3-2 right now. So yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
And plus, they had that week 1 loss where like Higgins didn't play, Chase wasn't 100%. They were looking ahead to the Kansas City game. Like they were just so flat for that game. Like I don't put much stock into it. So
yeah.
the only like real game they lost was against Washington, and like at the time it seemed bad, but Washington's been like invincible since. So like that even looks better. So this is a good team. They're one of the best 1-4 teams I can ever remember.
True.
So yeah, I like them a lot. And Mike's good point here. AFC North is the weakest it's been in a long time. It's absolutely true. Yeah. Can we talk about your DFS build? Yeah, I mean, on the time, do you have time to chat DFS a little bit?
I got it. I do have to sign off here pretty soon.
Okay.
But I don't know. I can sign off and you can keep going if you want. But
okay. Yeah, you want to? I'll stay on for a little bit to talk to you about.
Okay.
Tom, do you want to plug your Twitch here?
Yeah, I haven't streamed in a bit, but I'm crushing it on Rocket League over here, just rambling about God only knows what and some sports related content. But yeah, check it out. Maybe I will start tweeting out some of those hockey picks. I'm sure Walter will retweet them, so you can give me a follow on Twitter too. Same name, Quacky T. And as always, a pleasure to be with you guys. So
yeah, awesome. Thanks, Tom, for coming on. Yeah, we'll talk next week. Hopefully after a 5-0 week, and that Vasquez guy, who by the way didn't post my 2022 record. Maybe he'll show up and say, "Hey, you guys did a great job." I shouldn't.
Yeah, I hope so. But all right, take care, y'all. I'll see you a little later.
Bye. All right, guys. All right, let's bring up DraftKings here, and then I'll sign off. What is this? PGA Tour. I got 5th place. When did that happen? How long ago was this? This is February 22nd. Anyway, let's see here. So weird. I don't know why that's still there. All right, let's go to NFL. And there's the 555, which I talked about doing. I ended up playing $200 spy entries instead. I like single entry better than MME. I don't do MME. I don't know. I just don't think it's fun. Just because like I think building your own team is so cool. Like it's such a great thing to do. But I don't know. So let me enlarge this. Top, you could go up for Jackson Daniels. I prefer Daniels. I think they're going to be negative game script here. And Baltimore's secondary is a mess. So I like, if you're spending up for a quarterback, I think it should be Jaden Daniels. I think Prescott's kind of interesting because there could be a lot of garbage time, kind of like there was in the Baltimore game when we went for 32 points. So if you're going to build that, I think you have to put in like some Detroit players. Like I don't always think you need to run it back, but you definitely want, if you go that mode, like you're going to have some Detroit players go off. Like you could really game stack this. You could have like Prescott with Lamb and Tolbert, and then run it back with like Gibbs and maybe Jameson Williams or something. I think St. Brown would be too expensive at that point. But I'd like at least one of the Detroit backs and maybe another Detroit player if you do it that way. Yeah, but you would need the garbage time for Prescott. Like that's the only way he gets there. I don't think he's going to have a good game otherwise. Jordan Love is fine. Like I said, I think this is the game where he returns back to form. But I think there are better plays here. I'd rather go low. Like either I think you should either play Jane Daniels or Prescott or just go low pretty low here. And like the lower guys I'm talking about, not if Tom's listening, sorry, not Bo Nix. There are 3 guys you can look at near the bottom. The first is Drake May. Talk about him. He has a lot of rushing upside, and Houston allows a lot of rushing yardage to quarterbacks. That's probably my least favorite play here. My favorite play is Will Levis. I talked about him. Again, Chicago, 6th ranked defense, Jets 2nd. Chicago's 5th, Jets 2nd, Packers are 6th. and then Miami, he didn't play. And Indianapolis is his easiest matchup of the year so far. And you just saw what Trevor Lawrence did after struggling. The other quarterback is the Silver Snake, Spencer Rattler. He has rushing upside. He has good tools. What I worry about is like Tampa's blitzing could just really throw him off. So I like Will Levis here of the cheaper quarterbacks. Let's see, and then you go to running backs. So you can pay up for running backs too, but there are a lot of good cheap options as well. Like you can go to Barkley or Henry. I think those are the two top options, or one of the Lions backs. I think I prefer Gibbs over Montgomery. I think he has more upside. But you can't go wrong playing either. Connor and Jacobs are good options. Bijan, like I said, great matchup, but he's injured, so I would be careful with him. Brian Robinson's out, so that means Eckler's in play. I'll get to him in a little bit. Hubbard's a fine play. I wouldn't play Dobbins against Denver's defense. Pollard, you can stack him with Will Levis because look, he had 4 targets, 6 targets, 4 targets. Like he's involved in the passing game. I think quarterback, running back, receiver stack is underplayed. I think people need to do that more. So I think that's a good option. Don't play Najee Harris. He's 300 pounds. This 29th looks appealing, but he's too fat to do anything. Let's see. Eckler, I talked about him. So this looks like a tough matchup against Baltimore, but he's going to catch passes out of the backfield, and he's going to get more carries with Brian Robinson out. So I don't mind Eckler at 5,600. I think you can stack him with Jaden Daniels. Let's see here. So Javonte, no real interest there. I think the Broncos are going to be behind. Bucky Irving is the play. Like I said, the Kareem Hunt ran for 107 yards against the Saints, and he's going to get all the work, the receiving work, the rushing work. Like he's going to be a bell cow in this game. I think it's going to be super tough for him not to meet value unless he gets injured. They're Algier. If you want to go crazy, I wouldn't do it. Jalen Warren is interesting because maybe the Steelers see that Harris is so out of shape. Maybe they go with Warren. But I just think there's so many good, cheaper options at your disposal here. Jeremy McNichols, another one. For the same reason why you should play Eckler. You can go McNichols, although I worry about like most of his touches have come in garbage time. So I don't know if he's necessarily going to get all the work there. I would just rather play Bucky Irving and just like worry about and just like play Bucky Irving and like one of the mid-tier guys because I like the top receivers a lot more. CeeDee Lamb, like Lions are horrible against slot receivers. Like I think he's going to go off. St. Brown, you can always play. I think AJ Brown is the top of the receivers. My favorite the top of the receivers. Like I said before, the Browns are so bad against outside receivers. And yeah, he's coming off an injury, but he practiced fully all week. So I'm not concerned about that. Diggs and Dell, they both get an uptick here, and the Patriots are bad against receivers. So they're both fine plays. I wouldn't play Evans against Lattimore. He just tends to struggle against Lattimore. I know he scored a lot of touchdowns, but still. Harrison's going to be locked up with Jair Alexander. Jaden Reed, I think, is a good option. But I would rather just pay up like 800 more for AJ Brown at that point. I think he's a little too expensive. Chris Godwin, though, 6,900. The Saints are so bad against slot receivers. Like, think about what Juju did. I mentioned that before, but Juju went off. He had like the game of his life against the Saints, and Chris Godwin has the same matchup. And Evans is going to be locked down by Lattimore. So, like, where else is Baker Mayfield going to throw? Like, I think Godwin's outstanding play. Like, the only negative about Godwin is that, like, it could interfere with Bucky Irving. But I think you can play both, like, even without Mayfield. Or with Mayfield, if you stack Mayfield, I think it was a decent option this week. I think you could stack Mayfield with Godwin and Irving. I don't think that's that crazy. Moving down, Drake London is the most popular receiver on the slate. And I love his matchup, but I'm always hesitant to play the top-owned receiver just because receivers are so volatile. But, like I said, you can get chalky here and just worry about being different elsewhere. I don't think it's a bad play. The Saints receivers are too overpriced with Rattler. I think Zay Flowers is a great play. Like, in every game that wasn't a runaway, like, he has produced 11, 22, and 22. And just ignore these two because the Ravens were so ahead that they just ran the ball nonstop. So Zay Flowers, I think, is a great option. Dell talked about him too. Pittman's banged up. Deontay Johnson is less banged up. I think you can play Deontay Johnson. He's so productive. I think Cooper's a great play too. Eagles receiver, Eagles cornerbacks just so bad. I think Cooper could have a great game. Pickens, I don't really want to trust him because he could get benched again. Let's see here. Calvin Ridley, I love this week. You just saw what Brian Thomas did to the Colts. Same situation. Yeah, even if you don't play Levis, I think Ridley should definitely be in play. But like he's automatically like locked in with Levis. I love Josh Downs as a player if Flacco starts, but sounds like it's going to be Richardson, so less excited about that. And in fact, if it is Richardson, I think Pierce might be a decent option, but he's priced up now. He was in the 4K, now he's 5.4. I don't like that. Wicks is Wicks. I will play Wicks if Watson's out. That's something you have to watch out for because they both play the same position. Christian Watson might return earlier than expected. He was limited in practice all week, so if he's out, Wicks looks great to me. I know he busted last week, but he has so much potential. I think he can go off, especially in this easy matchup. Let's go down. Lee gets okay. I don't like a lot at the bottom here, so that's why I'm more willing to go cheaper at quarterback and running back and just spend up for receiver. Like it's really not much down here at receiver. I was looking at if Pittman and Downs are both out, you have Adonai Mitchell at 39. I think that's fine. But otherwise, I really don't think there are any good cheap receivers here. I was trying to find one. I just really didn't fall in love with anyone. So I'm going to pay up for receiver this week. Tight end. Again, this is a position I'm going to go cheaper this week. But if you do pay up, I think Bowers is the way to go. He's going to be awesome, especially with Devontae Adams out. All these other guys are fine. The Kraft is going to be super highly owned. I'd try to fade that. And then what I like is at the bottom here, you have starting with Dalton Schultz. I talked about him before, how the Patriots are so bad against tight ends. Jonnu Smith just had an awesome game against the Patriots. Patriots have allowed tight ends to just go off this year. So Schultz, I think, is a good play. Andrews is fine. I like Kate Otten a lot. Saints are horrible against tight ends. It feels like Kate Otten should do well. And again, you're gonna have Mike Evans locked up. Baker Mayfield's gonna have to look elsewhere. So Kate Otten's a good option. And then there was one more. Oh, Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz had 8 targets last week, so he's still heavily involved. And the Ravens, like I said, they've allowed 31 receiving yards to every single tight end they played. So, he gets 4 for 40 and touchdown. You're going to be looking great. You're going to need him to score a touchdown, but still, there could be a lot of points in that game. The two very cheap options I'm looking at, the 2 Charger tight ends. You have, and it sucks you have to guess, but Will Dissly and Hayden Hurst. Denver leaves the middle of the field wide open. They are horrible against tight ends. So I think one of them is going to have a good game. I just don't know which one. I was hoping for one of them to be out because I know Hurst was limited in practice. So I thought there was a chance he might miss the game. But he's going to be active. So you kind of have to guess, like I said. But I do think one of them will have a good game. I just don't know which one. So I think it's the 4:00 slate where Ertz is not playing and Otten's not playing and Schultz is not playing. I think I'm playing Hurst as my tight end in my 4:00 lineup. Defense, it just don't pick the chalky defense. I think that's the Buccaneers. I'm not sure. I didn't look at ownership for defenses yet, but just don't play the chalky defense and just try to pick against a quarterback or offensive line that's not good and it's going to throw a lot. Generally I think a mistake people make is that they look at an offense that's not good and they play the defense against it, but it's a conservative offense that's going to be dink and dunk. I think a good example of that is the Broncos. So the Chargers are 3,300. They may look appealing, especially if Bosa plays, but Bo Nix is going to just throw check down after check down. He's not going to challenge downfield. And so he's not going to make mistakes. And so the odds of the Chargers scoring a defense touchdown are pretty low. So you want these defensive touchdowns. You want to go against an aggressive quarterback who's not that good, or his offensive line is not that good. So I think if you're not playing Levis, I think Colts are a great example of that. The Colts don't have a good defense, but the Titans have a bad quarterback who makes a lot of mistakes. So there's a good chance he's going to throw a pick six. So I think the Colts are a good option. So let's see. Any questions here? Levis plus Ridley. I would. I think you could also throw in Pollard or Hopkins. I like Pollard, like I was saying. Ross says, and they will play ball against the Texans. In my opinion, when a team goes through something so perverse, such as this, they have quite a few days of bad play under Kraft. Okay. Which coaching now would you most likely go for a beer with? I feel like Dan Campbell would be the best. he's so aggressive with this fourth down. I think that translates. I feel like it would translate into like a nightlife. Like he would be like, you get him drunk and like he'd like want to like go nuts and stuff like that. Like he wouldn't want to stop partying. So I think that would be the best. Bowers, Fern, or McBride? Who's Fern? Who's Fern? Laporta? Or Ferguson. I would go Bowers. I'd go Bowers. I think that the McBride doesn't have. I don't know. I'm worried about Arizona's mindset this week with Kyler Murray coming off the win plus the Call of Duty thing. I don't know. It might be stupid to call like to factor that in, but I'd rather just play Bowers. What's your biggest hit in DFS? I twice won 50K in NBA, and it was within a span of like I want to say like a month. This was back right before COVID, and like the second time was what happened. It was like the Bucks announced that Giannis wasn't going to play, and like all their other starters weren't going to play. And I like rushed to the computer and I took all of them out. And I guess people either played them or put in their backups, but I didn't do that. I put in guys from other games that ended up winning 50K in NFL last year. So this is so heartbreaking. I had in the spy, which I played, it was like 50K to first. I made this lineup, and it was a beautiful lineup. It was a Carson Wentz stack. It was week 18. So it's Carson Wentz with Davis Allen as the stack. We Kenny and I, we called them the spicy meatball. So I played that stack, and like that like they're so cheap. They allowed allowed me to get everywhere else. And so I was listening to some show before kickoff, and these guys are like, "Oh, I had James Conner in my lineup," and these guys are like, "Oh, James Conner's gonna be so highly owned. Everyone's gonna own him." And I listened to that. I'm like, "Oh crap! Maybe I should take Conner out." So I took James Conner out, and I put in Zamir White instead. And so in the spy, I actually, with that lineup, Zamir White did okay. He had like 16 fantasy points or something. With that lineup, finished like 8th or something, 8th or 9th. And that was good enough for like $800. It was okay. If I kept James Conner in, I would have won the 50K. I would have won first place. So, and not just that, I had the same lineup in the Millie, and that would have finished in 10th place. And so I would have that would have been another 10K. So it would have been 60K overall. So instead of 60K, I won $800. So that was pretty brutal. So those are my 2 biggest wins plus my almost third biggest win. So unreal. Yeah, it sucks. Don says all the cash is on Green Bay, yet the line is moved back to the opening line. Vegas wants you on Green Bay. Let me look at that real fast. I think you might be right, but I mean, look, sometimes the public is right. Like you shouldn't like always fade the public. Green Bay, Arizona. Why am I not seeing this game? Did they take it off? Okay, it's at the bottom for some reason. So no, I'm looking at money on Arizona. Actually, I seen like 60% of the money was on Arizona. So yeah, I'm not seeing that. I don't like there are different sites that have different numbers. Let me look at 2 different sites here. So Green Bay, Arizona. Yeah, so actually, I'm seeing on the other site has Green Bay getting 69% of the money. So I don't know. I don't know who to believe. I believe the site that has the 60% to Arizona, but this one could be right. But yeah, the line has moved to 5.5 though. It was at 5 for a while. It's moved to 5.5. So maybe that's an indication that sharps like Green Bay. This saw 80 plus on pregame. Okay, yeah, it's gonna be different in other places. Um, but 5.5 you could tease. I wouldn't tease a 5.5. Teasers, you should only do that when you can get 7 and 3. Those are the two main key numbers. And so with this teaser, you're only getting 3, and so the math just doesn't add up. Like it's like you're better off just betting the 5.5. It's just like a negative EV thing. Now, if the Packers were -7.5, you could tease it down to -1.5. Like that would be a great play because you'd be getting both the 7 and the 3. But here you're only getting the 3, so it's not worth it. Just bet the Packers at that point. All right, guys. I think that's about it. So thank you so much for joining us, me and Tom. Really appreciate it. Please hit like, subscribe, comment below, share this video. Visit the link in the description for the merch store. Yeah, and thank you guys for watching and commenting. Really appreciate it. Thanks especially to Germ for the $5. Thank you to Cassandra too for the super chat. I'll mention it in the future. Thank you, Ron. Really appreciate it, guys. Love being on the show with you. But yeah, I have to get some work done before the early start tomorrow. Hate these 9:30 a.m. games. It's so brutal. But yeah, we'll be back for next week on Tuesday with Evan, and then Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Saturday, as usual. We'll have a full slate of shows, so can't wait for that. Good luck with all your bets and all your DFS and all your fantasy lineups. I hope you guys win a lot of money and win your fantasy matchups. And have a great Sunday, despite the 9:30 a.m. start. And I will talk to you on Tuesday.